The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Hello, and welcome back to Drew's Venture History TV. I'm your host, Drew Darty. Today, I want to share about the history of the Battle of Bunker Hill that took place on June 17, 1775. 2 months after the Battles of Lexington and Concord, 20,000 of the colonial rebels grouped up all across New England, convinced on the Massachusetts and Boston in particular. They surrounded the harbor around Boston, and they bottled up the British inside the city. By the middle of June, their numbers had swollen to the point that General Thomas Gage was concerned about their presence outside of the city. They were led by General Amos Ward, who was the head of the Massachusetts Community of Safety, who on the night of June 15 and 16 ordered his colonial forces forward to the Charlestown Peninsula to set up a fortification on Breeze Hill. They were originally supposed to set up a position on nearby Bunker Hill, but they decided not to because they wanted to have a clear view of Boston. On the morning of June 17, when the sun began to rise over Boston Harbor, the British looked out in the distance and they were stunned what they saw. The colonial rebels set up a fortification on Breeze Hill almost closer to Charlestown, and the British knew something had to be done. After the Council of War with his top generals William Howe, Harry Clinton, and John Berrien, General Thomas Gage made his decision to attack the American position located on Breeze Hill. And on the afternoon of June 17, 1775, which was incredibly hot and humid day, thousands of British grenadiers and regular redcoats embarked across Boston Harbor to disembark on the shores of Charlestown and begin on the assault on the American position on Breeze Hill. Led by General William Howe, the British marched off to the consent of drums, beans, and the assault on the American position. Thousands of British troops marched in formation at the bottom of the hill, inside the American fort. The American militiamen trained their eyes, and they knew the big fight was coming. They could see the great gleaming bayonets. They could see the redcoats marching uphill and headed towards them. Originally, Colonel William Prescott, one of the defenders inside the fort, ordered his men to not fire until they saw the whites of their eyes. The British marched up in continuance, step by step, inch by inch. They got closer, and closer, and when they got within the musket range, the Americans issued a railing volume that dropped into the British their ranks in their place, and they retreated back where they started. Once the British marched up the hill again, this time stepping over their dead and wounded comrades, they made their assault on the American position, and once again the Americans fired within the volume into the ranks. The British once more retreated to their original lines. Finally, at the third assault again, marching over their dead and dying comrades, the British were able to prevent the American force. Because the Americans were ran out of ammunition, and a surge of fierce firefight broke out inside the fortification. Inside the fortification were several African Americans, including Peter Samling, who saw an officer to Drew, and being on the officer, fired his gun and took out Major John Pitcairn, who was slain infamously during the battles of Lexington and Concord. The Americans broke out and ran, but not because they were afraid, but because they had run out of powder and shot. The British won the fleet, but as Harry Clinton has said, it was a dear-bought victory. After the battles of Bunker Hill, a regulation between the American colonies and Great Britain was no longer possible. Benjamin Franklin wrote to his friend in England, "We were once friends, we are now enemies." The war had taken a fateful turn. I hope you all enjoyed this video about the Battle of Bunker Hill. I will be back here next week for a different topic to discuss. Thank you.